Cachet. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Amy Lloyd. I am the CEO of All for Ed, and I am so excited about this year's Digital Learning Day. It is all about connection, how technology connects us, how technology transforms education, how technology can bring heart and purpose into learning. And across the country, our educators, our schools, our policymakers are working really hard to make digital learning more equitable, more engaging, and more human-centered. And today, we're going to be learning from the experts, frankly. We'll be talking about everything from cell phone policies to AI, internet access, to all of your big ideas for the future of technology in schools. This is an open, honest conversation today. There aren't any wrong answers. We really want to learn from our students, the people we are here to serve, about your experiences, your ideas, even your frustrations, so that we can help people across the nation make digital learning better for everyone, for all of our students. So today is more of a conversation than it is a formal panel. We want to make sure that we all have voice and vision, that we all can contribute to the discussion. And so I would love to start with a quick whip around. If everyone could please first introduce yourself, your grade level, where you're from, and something that you're excited about or proud of in your learning. And then also, if you could describe your experience with technology in just one word related to school. Experience with technology in school, one word, what would that one word be? So let's start with you, Sawyer. You're first on my slate, and then you can pass it to someone else.
Got it. So hello, everyone. My name is Sawyer Stewart. I am a 12th grade student at Arabia Mountain High School, which is in DeKalb County. So shout out DeKalb. Something interesting about me is that I am very big in tech. So at my school, I have taken computer science classes and earned a computer science certification. And then I go to another school to work on cybersecurity, which is also why I'm here, because of this newly founded program in DeKalb County called the Cyber Champions. So shout out to them as well. And I have earned 4 certifications in cybersecurity so far, and I'm planning to earn about 4 more. So it's been an amazing experience. And if I can use one word to describe technology, it would be invigorating. And I'm going to pass it on to Brandon.
Hello, my name is Brandon. I'm from St. Louis. I'm a senior at Ladue High School. One interesting thing about myself is I play football. I like sports. I watch a lot of football, actually. I'm actually a Steelers fan, for anybody out there. So, yeah, and one word to describe technology, I would say, is interesting or innovative or something. I don't know, yeah, one of those. Oh, I pass it on to you, Braille. There you go.
Hello, my name is Braylon. Braylon Brown. I'm a senior at Ladue High School, St. Louis. And hey, what was that? So one interesting thing about me is I would say obviously I'm a twin. I love sports. I'm also a Steelers fan, and I love technology. I love video games, computers, all of that. That's all one big thing for me. And I say one word I would say about technology is I would say it's creative. I would say it's creative. Oh, Elliot, pass it on.
Yes. Well, my name is Elliot, and I am from Salinas, California. We are the heart of agriculture in my area, and I am a big advocate for agriculture and agriculture education. I am involved with the Everett Alvarez FFA chapter, so shout out to my chapter. And one interesting thing about me is I'm also a twin. I have a twin sister, and one word to describe technology is it's very powerful.
Absolutely. Invigorating, interesting, creative, powerful technology is all of those things. The degree to which we bring that to life in our schools probably varies from school to school and place to place. But wow, I'm so grateful that the 4 of you are taking time away from school to talk with us today, to share your experiences about technology and education. I want to think about connectivity. So imagine trying to do your homework without Wi-Fi access, or having to share just one device with multiple family members, or having that device just be a phone instead of a tablet or a laptop. And for some students, this is a daily reality. And I want to hear from you and talk about why access to technology matters and what schools can do about it. And so I'm curious about, how important is it for you and for your peers to have reliable access both to the internet and technology at school and at home to support your learning? How do you engage with technology in your learning day to day? And open it up to anyone. Please just jump in.
I think with technology comes also knowledge and understanding. Being able to have access to certain technologies and even just certain applications and systems make our lives easier and give us convenience. Making sure that we have access to Wi-Fi, access to specific applications, several different devices other than a phone, because a phone is limited. I understand that a lot of us think that phones are mini computers, in which they are, but it's still a phone is not as accessible or as out there as a computer. So being able to access those things with the proper Wi-Fi elements and the proper data is just more convenient for our everyday lives. And not only more convenient for our everyday lives, but they give us access to knowledge and resources that we don't even know or think of on a regular day basis.
I would have to agree and say, I think accessibility is one thing that I think, we should shine a spotlight on more, especially in my area. Once students leave school, they don't really have that, access, and they don't have that, one-on-one, experience with technology. It's once they leave site, they don't have that resource anymore. So I think making it more accessible to students and even parents to help, with learning outside the classroom, then, that's the one thing that we can use to implement, education, and making sure that we have proper resources for students, rather than just going home and not having those things available.
Yeah.
I would
Go ahead.
say, oh, I would say, having four brothers, I couldn't imagine sharing one device. I
Oh
feel
my
like that
goodness.
would be
Yeah.
just insane. Like, just I have to have my own things. Everyone has to have their own technology. I feel like just that experience in itself is very important for education wise, I guess. Like I'd use my computer all the time for homework, and there's so much curriculum to do. So like if all my brothers would have all these different type of curriculum, we can't just share one device. I think it's very important for being accessible to technology throughout, or yeah. So
And kind of the same boat as Brandon. Like I pretty much cannot imagine having to share one
Yeah.
device. But I would say like technology, I feel like it just helps just being organized. Like I don't think it's like 1970, 1980 no more. It's 2025. Like I don't want to keep writing papers, and that's just too much. It's too. You can have. I can sit there and go on my laptop and go on Google Classroom and find an assignment this fast, rather than having to go through my bag, go find folders, go find papers, all that. I just feel like it's so much more organized. I get all my work done. I mean, I feel like I can. I mean, I personally can type fast. So like, if we're talking about writing a paper, like I would rather be on my laptop and write a paper than physically write on a paper, and like that's just too much for me. And I think everybody deserves to have that luxury to be able to do that.
Absolutely. And you're right, like so much of just like the day-to-day assignments, what's going on in class, all of that is online for many schools and many places. Are you in any of your schools, are you seeing how your school is helping students who may not have devices at home be able to take home devices? Or, I mean, you all lived through the pandemic too, when I think we saw some pretty big digital divides and who had access. I know in my home communities, some people were going to the McDonald's parking lot to tap into Wi-Fi, or, we're working off of phones, or we're having to share things. How are your schools thinking about like making sure that access to connectivity and to devices is something every student can have.
I would say
So,
like for oh, you can go.
oh, thank you. I think for DeKalb County, at least, every kid is given a Chromebook, and I think that starts in about third or fourth grade. Every kid is given a Chromebook that is given to them in the beginning of the year. We sign a contract through Digital Dreamers to make sure that we will be safe online, and we all get Chromebooks with the cord and a case to keep it protected. I don't know if they give out things for people who may not or may have Wi-Fi, but I'm pretty sure you can also access, they give out like free library cards so you can go to the library. And I'm pretty sure you can also access hotspots if needed.
And for me also, I just want to add on, like for Ladue, like throughout the years, especially in middle school, I know we get passed on like iPads and stuff like that, and I know they kind of switched it off, especially in high school, to MacBooks, and I do know that they do provide MacBooks to everyone, and everyone's able to take their MacBook back home, and even when we had iPads, they were able to take their MacBook or iPad back home, and they also provide like the laptop covers and all that. The only thing is like if you had broke your laptop, you don't have to pay for it unless your laptop cover wasn't on it. So like I guess that this helps people like clumsy people. I guess there's a lot of clumsy people here, but I definitely think the spreading of technology, being able to go home and have a laptop is pretty. It's pretty nice at Ladue. I like it.
Right on. That's terrific. Brandon, did you want to jump in?
Yeah. I was wanting to say. Well, dang, I just lost my train of thought. Hold on.
I think that
I just had my thought and I just messed up. My bad.
Don't you hate it when that happens? It's okay. It'll come back to you. When it does, let us know. Elliot, please.
I think that, COVID-19 and being within the pandemic, that really gave technology such a boost, and it really, we had to implement more technology into schools. Saying that, with being in the Salinas Union High School District in my area, we made it accessible. We made things accessible for students. They were able to take home their computers. And if they were restricted as far as Wi-Fi goes, we would provide them with personal hotspots. And I think that's such a great resource that we're utilizing. And, it's making it accessible. And, instead of restricting our students' learning, we are making sure that they are going beyond and really getting that experience of, well, I can learn at home. And, it's such a great thing that we're doing. And seeing the growth of students learning is just amazing.
And technology makes all of that possible. And it's a must-have these days, right? It's not a nice to have. You have to have some connectivity and some device to be able to succeed in school and in the world of work beyond. In every single job, there's an element interwoven with or connected to technology today. So access to these devices, access to connectivity is essential. And when we think about, equitable education and the digital divide, I'm so glad to hear that your schools are all stepping up and supporting every student to be able to engage.
I remember
Please.
what I said. So again, like Braylon said, with Ladue, they do allow our devices to go to home and stuff like that and do work or whatever, which I think is pretty nice. I will say, as far as Ladue in general, I don't think they do a good enough job with navigating technology, or teachers, and I don't think a lot of the teachers aren't really educated enough with technology to help kids navigate and stuff like that. So I mean, it's kind of really not their fault. So I feel like there should be some systems where like you should educate more teachers with helping the students navigate technology and stuff like that, instead of leaving it up to the students, which there are some students that really are pretty good with navigating the computers and stuff like that, for the good and bad reasons, obviously. So I feel like the school really focuses on restrictions with the devices and not necessarily accessing different things. Like my reading teacher doesn't even like, she was talking about using Keynote, and she did not know how to use Keynote whatsoever. Which I thought was pretty funny, but he had to ask another teacher and help her navigate Keynote or whatever. So I don't know. So I think teachers just need to do a little bit better job with navigating technology for students and stuff like that. So that's just my school though. So.
That is
No,
such
and
a good point. Go jump in, Sawyer. And Elliot, I saw you come off mute. I don't know if
it's
you have
really
something to
not
say here
only
too.
your school. I know that teachers in counties in Georgia also have problems navigating technology.
Mhm.
We, especially this year and last year, we changed systems. So we stopped using like Google Classroom and Clever and all of those things and started using Canvas more.
Mhm.
And goodness, some of those teachers still don't use Canvas. Some of them do, and if they do, sometimes they don't always know how to use it. So I definitely think more systems to train teachers on how to use specific educational platforms and applications, as well as training teachers how to use their computers in general. I have had teachers come up to me and like, Sawyer, how do I do this? I don't know how to do this. How do I do? So I think definitely having teachers get trained on not only the applications, but how to use their computer in general would be an amazing idea.
Yes, I would agree with all of those things. I think it's really important that, we educate teachers because at the end of the day, they are educating us. And I noticed on Sawyer's background, there's a whiteboard. In the Salinas Union High School District, we are using smart boards. So it's a digital TV screen that, teachers use as a resource in the classroom. But again, some teachers don't know how to implement those in their teaching styles. So, educating teachers across the board is just an amazing thing that we need to implement because that'll only benefit their students and their learning.
Yes, we have smart boards as well. This one is just in here. I don't know why, but we have smart boards as well, and especially I think not only do we need to teach teachers how to use them in general, but when we get updates or new versions of things, we need to teach them how to use the new version as well. My whole school just got new electronic boards, and no one knows how to use them.
Yeah, so it's one thing to have the technology, but it's another to be able to use it effectively. And frankly, all of you've grown up with technology. Those of us who are a little older and who are in the teaching profession are not digital natives, quote unquote. And you often know a lot more about these tools and resources than we do. So how do we create an environment that, I've seen school districts do things like innovative work-based learning programs where students are, the tech support for the school district, and that's part of your pathway in computer science or other career pathways connected to tech. So I really appreciate the call out because we need to make sure that the adults in the system are brought along with you, the leaders who know technology often better than we ourselves do. Okay, I want to pivot back to cell phones. So this is a hot topic these days, and I love them or hate them, however they show up in schools, like they are a huge part of our lives. We all have them within arm's reach, typically at any given moment, night or day. And some schools have really strict policies around cell phone usage in school, and others are a lot more flexible. But we've been trying to learn from districts across the country, like what's actually best for students and for learning. And so I'm curious about what policies around cell phone use in school that you think would make learning better? Like, what are the current, can you use your phones in your schools? What are your current policies? And how does that impact your learning, either, for good or for the worse?
Well, at Ladue, they make more last year they were really strict on putting phones in these like pouches on the doors,
The
and
magnet
then
pouches?
I wouldn't, not necessarily. They were more like they hang on the top of the door and like just hang on it. Like I guess they have a hook and then kind of just have like 30 slots, and you have a slot number and you have to put it in there and teacher will check and see
Got
if you
it.
had to put. Now this year, some teachers like kind of lenient about it, like you just keep it in your bag, don't let me see it, or some teachers want you to actually put it in your phone slot. But I mean, I don't feel like, as long as it's really, you're not, I mean, I would say like the majority of teachers, you can't really use it during class. I mean, you could definitely like after class, like in the hallways at lunch, all that, you could definitely use your phone. But like out, I mean, when we're in class or when we're learning or like, we're doing school, they usually would tell us that, we can't use our phone, or they'll take, if we keep doing it, they'll take it for themselves or give it to the office or whatnot. But I think, I don't think there's I mean, I say it would definitely disrupt the learning environment using your phone during class. So I mean, I'm not gonna argue with that. But so I think our policy is fine. I think I think we should have a level of trust though. Like I feel like we shouldn't have to put in a phone slot. Like I feel like that's set be like a repeated unless we like repeatedly use our phone in class, then like or like the class itself is like really bad with phones that we put in our slots. But I feel like just putting in a slot just automatically is kind of like I don't know. I don't know.
I honestly, I think this is such a controversial topic. All across the board, it's a very, there's a lot of points that go into having phones in school. I think students can utilize it as a resource, but then other times it can be distracting. And actually, I've gotten to witness this, personally. We were doing eighth grade recruitment for my FFA chapter, and we went to a middle school where they have implemented these pouches, and students are required to put them in the pouches before school starts. And you can really tell the difference between their level of engagement because, they're focused on the material that they're learning. So I mean, this is a great way to engage more students in what they're learning. And, having that restriction is important because, we want to make sure that they're learning the stuff and, it only benefits them. And I think it's a great idea. And we're using it for the betterment of their education.
So my county just released a policy this year called Disconnect to Reconnect, where there have been tester schools that get tested for the yonder pouches, which are the magnetic ones, or even phone lockers. I think my school is not one of them because I think we have too many technology pathways for that. But from my experience, from my friends that do go to those schools, they definitely have more engagement. But there are also ways that students kind of avoid that by putting like old cell phones in there or acting like they put a phone in there and didn't put a phone in there at all. So there's positives and negatives to it. I definitely think it is positive when it comes to students paying more attention in class and being more engaged. But I think that there are other ways to go about it, maybe. I know my school specifically, if your teacher says put it up, it's just put it up. And then if they have to repetitively tell you to put it up, it's just they take it for the rest of the class and then give it back to you at the end of the day or at the end of the class period. It really just depends on their policy. But I think sometimes there comes an issue with those policies when you take classes like computer science or photography or maybe even theater or cybersecurity or engineering where you might need your phone because not all school computers have access to every single application you'll need for those classes. So I think there's a way to go around it. I know for our policy, at least, if your teacher, if you know you need your phone for that teacher's class, you are allowed to use it for that teacher's class. And after that, you do have to put it back in its pouch or back in its locker or back in your book bag. But I definitely think when we're thinking of these policies or even making them, we must think about these other technology classes and other arts classes or classes in general that will need their phones for use.
Yeah, there's no one size fits all. Brandon, did you want to jump in?
Yeah. So I would say I feel like a lot of schools they always try to ban the phones and like that's such a huge issue and stuff like that, which I can understand because at the end of the day you could tell somebody to put their phone up there, but I feel like there's always gonna be a phone or two that's gonna be in somebody's pocket or whatever. So I feel like schools should like implement iPhones educationally more. Like I think they should use phones in the educate like just in during the classroom, maybe doing cahoots on the phone or something to engage people using phones because you're never
Yep.
going to like get somebody to like not use phones at all and that's all they use every single day. So I feel like they should use that more in learning processes and stuff. And like my mom was telling me the other day, she mentioned iPads and iPads are like the thing between the phones and the computers and those can if you're in for example you said you're in photography or I don't think you said photography but some are
Yeah.
broadcasting, whatever. You can use your iPad to take pictures and stuff like that instead of taking your phone out, which most schools don't want you to take photos and all of that. So yeah, that's all.
Well, and what I'm hearing is like there isn't a one size fits all. There are places where phones can be really useful for learning, depending on what students are studying, what the class is. But there's also the challenge of distractions that many of you have called out. And Braylon, I appreciate. Oh no, it looks like we just lost Sawyer. I hope she comes back. There she is. Braylon, I appreciated you calling out, like, sometimes teachers force us to put them in the pouches, but there could be a better way. Like you are on your way to adulthood. There's something about like self-regulation and being responsible yourselves. Like perhaps, structures and systems could be put in place that trust you to make good decisions and then have consequences if students don't. But these policies need to be realistic and centered on your needs, on students' needs, and strict bans across the board don't always work. And yet we know like the challenges that many districts are facing with this. And we also know how smart our students are. Like you can buy a dummy phone to put in the pouch for $10 on Amazon. I may or may not know that from my own child's experience. And also phones play a really important role in connectivity in the in-between spaces. Braylon, I think you called out like during lunch, during passing period, like how to have that connection in your time, and then how to leverage phones during teaching and learning time as a tool for teaching and learning. I think similarly, artificial intelligence is something that educators across the country are trying to grapple with right now. AI is everywhere. So whether it's looking at things like ChatGPT or Grammarly, or even our search engines are powered by AI these days. And some schools are embracing this and leaning in and saying, all right, we are reimagining our, how we are asking students to engage in teaching and learning, the assignments we're giving students, assuming that AI is a tool that they should be using. Let's design smart assignments and ways of learning that use that as a tool. Some districts are saying, heck no, we're blocking all AI. Like we want to make sure students are coming to critical thinking on their own and not just copying and pasting what others put forward. And some don't even talk about it or find other ways through it. But AI is not going away. It is infused across all the world of work, all the world of learning. And so I want to talk about how it's showing up for you in your education. Like, how are you engaging with AI tools in your studies, and how do you feel about this? And then what are you using outside of school related to AI? I'd love to hear about how you engage with AI overall.
Well, me personally, like when I do there's certain assignments, especially writing assignments. I don't plagiarize, but I definitely think there's a lot of ideas I can get with, especially when I use a site like ChatGPT. Like and sometimes it can also like, if I write an essay, I can write something, I can write a passage, and might have mixed feelings about it, but I can just copy and paste it and ask ChatGPT or somebody like, hey, what do you think of this essay, or what can I improve on? And then I kind of can use that and be like, you improve it, like not me actually copying it, but like using what ChatGPT thinks. I think you should, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I do, and I feel like that's something that I find productive when I do assignments.
I think that's a great point. I think that there's two sides to AI. Some people want to use it as a resource, and then at times people use it just to do their assignments and get it over with. So I totally see both aspects of it. I think it's a great resource that we can utilize. And I know I'm a broken record, but diving into the agriculture base of it, autonomous tractors, we're trying to implement AI measures in agriculture, and we're trying to have that evolution of what we can use like AI to make the job easier, to eliminate that process of hiring workers and paying for labor, because now our economy, it's so expensive to pay off labor and pay for maintenance and tractors. This is such an easy way to get things done around the industry. And, we see that both in education, and, it's a powerful thing that, we need to use as a resource and not take advantage of that. So, knowing the barriers and, what we can use it for.
I want to say I'm a little bit against AI, just a little bit compared to with it. Obviously, I mean, like anybody, I love using ChatGPT, like to use it as references for doing work like Braille and stuff like that. But there's a lot of educational systems that can't even navigate Google Classroom or Google Drive, and then but we're going to use AI. Like there's on ChatGPT, you could take a picture of your assignment on paper, and then it tells you the answers. Like that's just so incredible to me. Like I feel like there has to be I feel like there shouldn't be no AI until schools can really like pinpoint how to navigate and how to use it correctly, so that way people just can't just I don't know. I feel like there should be a little bit more restrictions on it because the AI stuff now, like it's unbelievable to me. Like it's crazy.
It's all over the place. You're right.
Can
Go
you
ahead.
guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, so I believe I'm but I believe I love AI. And I think when people think about AI, a lot of the times they just think about ChatGPT. But I also feel like AI is so much more than that. There's AI art, there's AI creation, there's generating. AI has given people jobs. There's so much more to AI than just ChatGPT, and honestly, it has been a great resource. Similar to what Elliot said, and I can't remember who else said it, but there are other ways to use AI that are more resourceful rather than harmful. Yes, you can put your work into AI, but you can also get AI to help you understand something that you do not understand. And again, there's just also other ways that AI can help you. There's AI art, there's generation, there's AI videos in which you can implement. You can take a picture of yourself and get AI to talk for you. I just think there's so many other ways to use AI other than ChatGPT, and I love AI. It's great.
I appreciate that perspective and the reminder that AI is more than just ChatGPT, like that it is being, utilized in the economy in new ways in the world of work. And that's something as we think about how you all are about to embark on, the next stage of your life and thinking ahead to your post-secondary trajectories, the careers that you're seeking to pursue, recognizing that the world of work is changing and not all jobs that you are going to have in your lifetime even exist today. AI will likely continue to be a part of that. And yet I also hear you, Brandon, and that like students may be using AI in different ways in schools, but schools are not always consistently guiding students clearly or have defined policies on how to use AI responsibly. And what are the benefits and limitations to AI? Like how to use it as a creative prompt like Braylon does and like I do, and then how to, make sure that we then are bringing ourselves to the work and what is the human aspect of the work that needs to be prominent and visible in addition to integrating AI into our work. It's a very fast moving field and one that education needs to continue to lean into. I always say, like, let's replace fear of the unknown with curiosity, but also let's protect ourselves and each other and make sure that, the tools we're using aren't biased, aren't causing harm, aren't giving us false information. And so, I think we all need to stay alert and engaged, but we can't just walk away from this. This is part of who we are now. All right. Stepping back, it's the adults in the system who make the decisions by and large about what happens in schools. And you have all said that often the adults in the system may not even understand how to effectively use technology, that you tend to be on the leading edge where sometimes your teachers or other people who are policymakers may not even understand how to use some of the tools and resources. And so when we think about deciding how technology is used in schools, what do you actually want? Like if you could design the perfect classroom, the perfect school experience with technology, what would that look like? Like, how would you improve technology use in school?
I think that, technology, it's so fast paced and it's, we're seeing evolution in technology every day. We're getting updates, we're getting new versions, and, we're trying all these new resources and things that help education and help us learn effortlessly. Taking it into the classroom, I think, as we see the transition from, hard books to, all digital audiobooks, things like that, we do see that it is easier for students to digest content, but maybe some students don't think like that, don't learn like that. They need to see the physical thing of what they're learning, hands-on experiences. So technology is good and bad. I think that in the classroom, it's a great tool to utilize. TVs, computers, cell phones, all these different aspects of learning, it's only benefiting students. But, as we step outside, maybe, getting that hands-on experiences, eliminating the technology use, and really getting that, version of what you're doing. So, it's very powerful, and, there's also a time and place that, we can limit. But I think just that it's such a broad statement. We can utilize it for so much.
Hey, Elliot, are there any tools or apps that you would want to see used? Like technology is such a broad term. Like if you could wave a magic wand and money weren't an issue, what kind of tech would you want in schools? And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, one resource that I've actually seen at my school is VR, virtual reality. That can be implemented in a number of things, science, math, English. Like you can, put on your goggles and you can witness what you're learning in a 3D scale. And that's a resource that we have, but we're not utilizing as much as we should. I haven't seen any class that has used VR before. That's something new to me completely as far as the education factor. And having the proper equipment for that, and the resources and the help to actually implement that in students' learning, I think that would be a great tool to use. And students can see what they're learning beyond, and 3D, that's a big deal. And so implementing new technology in this day and age is fantastic, I think.
I love that. And sorry, Brandon, I interrupted you. Please go ahead.
I agree with a lot of the stuff Elliot said. I definitely believe that it's different for every student as far as learning like virtually and the hands-on. Like for example, in elementary school, my mom's a technology specialist. She would go to different classrooms and do hands-on technology, different things like Autobots and stuff like that. I feel like those experiences, like I think I haven't learned as much technology as much as like those moments. Like I learned so much in like such a little amount of time. So like for me, so yeah, I definitely love hands-on learning. As far as the VR stuff, yeah, I don't see any type of VR in any type of classrooms. I definitely believe it can be utilized a lot. Like there's I think there's like I went had a program this summer called the Best Program, and we went to I think it was like a dentist type of setting. I don't really know what it was, but it basically had VR like headsets, and it were like you could like do like hands-on pregnancy and stuff like that. I don't know. It was very cool. Like I think we can do certain stuff like that in classrooms, and like for example, I have history of St. Louis. It's the class is learning about St. Louis or whatever. And they were thinking of buying like a VR headset to like be in Google Maps and like see where you're at and stuff like that. I don't know. So I think they can definitely use VR and stuff like that. So
And then, especially to add on to what he has, like I think the highest extent to what we use technology here at Ladue, like that we fully utilize, is probably like video editing. I know we use apps to like multimedia and stuff like that, where we just we can edit videos and we make hype videos for our high school teams and stuff like that. But besides that, I don't really think there's like anything too out of like anything we use technology so like advanced wise. Like it's kind of just the same time in school classroom, turn it in, blah blah blah, that type of thing. Yeah.
I definitely agree with what everyone said. As far as technology and different people's learning strategies or learning tactics, um, I definitely think we should use technology for different students' learning methods and what works best for them. I am personally not a hands-on learner, so technology is great for me to be asynchronous, to learn on my own, and to research and understand on my own. while for you guys, hands-on education might be better for you. I love the fact that we are talking about VR. I love anything digital technology. I feel like certain applications like Canva or the Adobe platforms or anything like that can be more accessible to schools. I also feel like when we think of technology, a lot of the things we think about is digital technology, but technology is also hardware. So more machinery, so CNC machines and 3D printers and all of these other machines, laser engravers, things like that. I think those should be more accessible to schools. Poster printers. I know these are things that my school has had to find funding for and had to gain grants for, especially for the Technology Student Association (TSA), which I'm president of. We've had to find so many grants to get machineries like that. I think we have about 6 3D printers, 2 CNC machines, a word workshop, all of those things. And I feel like other schools should have access to that so that they will, when they're doing projects and going to regionals and state, they don't have to pay other people to do that. And they can figure out these softwares and applications and machinery on their own.
Here, here. Thank you for calling out like the hardware that can accompany technology and integrating that into classrooms. And Sawyer, thank you for like using technology to be on the go, moving from one place to another and still stay engaged in the conversation. Like this just shows how important technology is to all of us. Any mic drop final thoughts from any of you? And I'll just say, like, taking a step back, it's clear how important technology is to all of us. It's a huge part of how you learn, how we work. And there's still so much work we need to do as a nation to make it better. So we are so grateful for your time, for you sharing your insights, for the leadership that you have in your schools and in your communities. Your voices matter more than you realize. Your voices are critical to how we shape the future of education in our country and shaping the future of learning. So any final mic drop parting thoughts for us as we think about the role of technology in education?
I just want to say, I think that it's really special to see, we all come from different places and, technology holds a different aspect in our lives and it's all different, as far as personal life and school. It's really awesome to see how we're utilizing and implementing different types of technology at each school and how it affects not only your education, but the peers around you. It's really eye-opening to see. And, this can be amazing because then, I can take some of the resources that, Brandon, Braylon, and Sawyer are taking at their school and take it to, my board of directors at the Salinas Union High School District and say, hey, we could utilize this resource or this resource to benefit students' education. So I think it's really special. And I want to say that, technology is awesome. And thank you everyone for sharing all your thoughts. And it's really awesome. And I would definitely take this information and collaborate with my district. So thank you.
So thank you, Elliot.
Thank you, Elliot. Like Elliot said, this conversation is eye-opening and it's a conversation that needs to be had. I really appreciate all of you guys' opinions and thoughts on technology. As someone who is a technology advocate, I appreciate conversations like this happening and being held. And I'm glad that we can all come from separate places and all come from everywhere across the United States and really talk about the same thing and have like-minded opinions about some of the same things on technology.
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't even think this deep about technology until this meeting. It really just opened me up to like everything. Like I didn't think, I never really thought about virtual reality in classrooms until I really thought about it and like what you can really do with. I don't know. So that's just really, this conversation really was important to my understanding of technology. So
Right on.
I think this was very productive conversation that I felt needed to be had, especially with the advancements in computers and technology coming in the coming age. So yeah, I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you all. I love that we're spanning coast to coast, Georgia to California with Missouri, and I'm in New Mexico. And so we really are voices from across the country. And at All for Ed, we are committed to like nothing about us without us. We want to make sure that good policy, good programs, good schools are designed with you and your voices centered in the discussion and the design. And so thank you for not only contributing to our shared understanding on this particular panel, but really we're going to take this and take your lessons learned across the country so that many more can learn from you as well. So thank you, gracias, Alakwa, so much. I really appreciate all of you and your time today, and it's a joy to meet you. I can't wait to see how you're leveraging technology to do good in the world. Keep rocking and go senior year. Y'all got it. You're almost there. So excited.